So my name is Baruch Aplebaum because I would transition from that world to this world. Um, I served from 1965 to December 7th, 1965 to December 7th, 1968. I was in the Army. I was a medic in the Army. My MOS was a dental specialist. I was an E5. I served. I did not serve in Vietnam directly. I think they call it Vietnam service as opposed to whatever. I was stationed in Germany from, I would say, mm, late 66 to mid 67 or early 67, because I was rotated back to Fort Hamilton um, on a hardship reassignment. My father, unfortunately, Shalom, had cancer. So so I was brought back on that.
When you were growing up, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I
And
grew up in an era, I need to preface this. You need to understand, in that particular era, serving in the military was not what a nice Jewish boy was supposed to do.
during that time, what was the Jewish environment you were growing up in?
Oh, wow. Um, I was not complicated, but it's complicated. Abba Shalom, my grandfather, my mother's father, lived next door to us. And so we lived in I lived in Borough Park, Brooklyn, which at that point was a very mixed neighborhood, not a considered neighborhood as it is now, but it was in transition while I was growing up. So I went to public school, but I had this Jewish influence. I went to Shalom Aleichem Volksschule um, through Bar Mitzvah, but I had my grandfather, my mother's parents living next door to us. So we shared big houses in between, on Fort Hamilton Parkway, these big 3 flat, whatever you call them at that point. Anyways, so as I was growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather and my grandfather. Now, as I learned out later, my grandfather was a Talmud Chacham by far, and he taught me my Bar Mitzvah. So if you want me, I can give you that story, which is a story I give over a lot because it's a great story. My Yiddishkeit comes from my grandfather. My grandfather would never, ever let me talk to him in anything other than Yiddish. And he would answer me in English. And as I'm gesagt, you will reden zu mir in Yiddish, you will answer me in English. You talk to me in Yiddish, and I'll answer you in English. And throughout my entire growing up until he passed away, until I was 18, I think, that was the deal. And it never changed. And every time as I was growing up and I wanted to switch to English, I would get a hand like this, and he would say, "What's up, you gesagt?" Okay, and I would immediately switch into Yiddish. So my Jewish environment was that kind of environment. It was a very, you know, 20th century kind of a deal. Um, my father, as I found out later, and we may get to it, may not, I don't know how relevant it is, came from Ger, Poland. He was my father's father was the Gabbai or Shamus for the Ger Kahila in Ger. And they were related, as I am related to the Ger Hasidim family. So I'm an anical according to Rabbi Tursky of the Imre Emes. So I have that being said. um, but going back to the point that I grew up this way, and it was this Yiddishkeit was always there. Until I was 18 years old, I was the only guy, the only boy in the family who said the four kashas, the 4 questions. And I had to say it in 3 languages, Hebrew, Yiddish, and English. And even to this day, I could probably get through the first question in do the whole thing in, um, so that was my Yiddishkeit.